nice.
Yeah. Success. Dum
Great
dum dum.
success. How is everyone?
Good. Yeah. Springtime in the Maritimes, or Maritime Canada at least. I'm sure there are other Maritimes elsewhere, but in this case, I'm talking about the Canadian Maritimes, and it's great because it's springtime, which means I get to, play with electricity and water.
That's You know how we were talking just now about like trying something three times? My mom's an engineer and she's a civil engineer, and so I have a lot of understanding of electrics, and my husband's a lighting designer, and I have a lot of understanding of electrics. I would like to register my concern of your
No,
combination
no,
of water and electricity.
I didn't say it was in combination. I said nothing about combination. I
Uh,
said and is in working with simultaneously electricity to run the pump and the pump to move the water.
Ah. Is this
I'm
your warp
See?
drive story?
Oh, warp drive story, right? Because
It's a
levers
very
and
old school warp drive, I've got to say. If it's
oh,
using a
absolutely, it
water
is.
pump.
So we're going to crank the Wayback Machine up to 19. Hang on a second, 90. Yeah, summer of 1990. When a much younger version of me was working with the Canadian Naval Reserve, and we were training on some very old ships. We were training very young officers how to be officers. And essentially, the way it was the same core crew had been on this vessel for about a year, but every 10 weeks, we got a new crop of officers other than the captain and the executive officer. Everybody else changed because the idea was teaching people how to do this job within, okay, great. This meant that every once in a while, and most officers in the Canadian Naval Reserve are university students, only 2 or 3 years older than the crew they were in charge of. And most of them, there's this truism in the Canadian military that all the people from the prairies join the Navy and all the people from the coast join the Army because they've seen the worst of the respective native elements, right? So almost every one of these fellows and ladies showing up had no clue what the interior of a ship was other than their limited experience on these training exercises out on the coasts. So a bunch of the engineers and a few other folks like myself on board were all Star Trek fans because this is the height of Star Trek Next Generation, right? Um, and so, amongst other things, one of the engineers and one of the deck and one of the folks in charge of the deck crew could routinely yelled at each other in Klingon. So, as bored sailors are wont to do, we decided that a gag was in order with a particularly clueless bunch that we had met during a briefing. And so a bunch of us all were modelers, there were two theater graduates, blah, 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 and thought, something, there's this blank chunk of wall downstairs in the engine room. Down below in the engine room. So we wandered off to what was in the day the local Radio Shack. And Radio Shack was literally explicitly a place that sold you all the bits and bobs required for building radios and computers. And so armed with a couple of credit cards and a recent paycheck, we wandered in there, terrified the clerk, and wandered out with a few armloads worth of stuff, including a heat gun, surgical tubing, and a few other things, and proceeded to assemble a very complicated looking thing that was covered in knife switches, glowy buttons, blinky things, etc., etc., except that it was 1992, so there wasn't an LED to be seen anywhere, right? Sorry, 1990. Okay, just so when I say knife switch, I mean, about that big, literally click, click, and hook that up to the ship's main supply. And all it really did was, depending on what you did with the switches, just change different combinations of lights. And if you just let it alone, the lights would periodically blink and it'd make this ominous buzzing noise periodically. And then we put a sign over it marked warp drive. And then the game amongst the engineers was when you do the familiarization tour, new officer coming on board, you walk him through the engine room so he understands, these are the concerns engineers have. If there's a fire, we're worried about this. If you're up there yelling at us to do this following thing, this is what we have to. So invariably, there's this long sideways glance at the thing marked warp drive, which clearly doesn't fit the rest of the decor of the interior of the engine room. It's all folded plastic, aluminum, blinky lights, blah, blah, blah. And none of them, and it's a classic example of Emperor's New Clothes, none of them want to be the one who says, what's that?
That's really dangerous. Because someone like me wouldn't even ask. I'd just wait till no one's there and pull the lever.
Well, the funny part was during one particular cruise, we were out Strait of Juan de Fuca, and we were trying to get somewhere a little bit faster than these ships are generally capable of. At which point, the officer of the watch rang down to the engine room and said, "Right, okay, I don't want to be late. I don't want to be late for the party scene in Vancouver this evening. Warp factor 2."
As long as it works.
He was the only, it turned out he himself was a bit of a Trekkie and a junkie. He noticed it, said, "I'm not asking any questions, storing this one for future use." And so, yes.
Yeah.
Smart.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's so yes, all kinds of levers, and the Frankenstein levers, right? The big knife switches. They're just, you can get them in miniature. They're about 5 centimeters tall.
Yeah, nice.
So just funny, funny, goofy.
That is.
And of course, if you know anything about voltage and amperage, it's really easy to make them spark.
Yeah. Yes.
We had a conversation about that at one point when I was in a production of Jekyll and Hyde.
Mm-hmm.
I had to make the laboratory, and there was this brief moment where there was one guy being like, I can just X, Y, and Z, and you'd have a bunch of stuff sparking and all that. It probably wouldn't be that dangerous. And we were like, I don't like how you phrased that. And there's a lot of pyrotechnic law we'd have to be responsible for, which we don't have the budget for.
This particular idea you're having, don't.
But we appreciate the Roxy, I guess.
To me, the one that I thought was fantastic was again, the classic. For if you're doing technical of any caliber, getting to tour a well-budgeted Frankenstein set is fantastic. And so they actually had 2 or 3 Van de Graaff generators behind the set, which had their discharge arc poles wired up to various things in the lab. So just that was how they were getting things to arc safely. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But huh?
So safe.
What's 80,000 volts between friends?
Between friends, it's death.
No. Volts is not death. Amps is death.
I mean, okay.
Taser 60,000 volts. It makes you dance funny, but it's okay.
When I finished high school, I got a job in essentially delivering mail in a government department. So I basically sorted out all the incoming external memos, and then at the end of the day, sorted them back into their various things so they could be sent out again. But I had various these plastic boxes from the post office that I would load up, because the department was spread across 4 buildings in the city. So I'd have to fill these up in a way, and then just walk them through the city, delivering everything that needed to the various parts of the department.
Cool.
But what I discovered is that when those boxes moved in and out of each other for a while, they just built up a charge. Particularly because they had a metal rim holding it all together. And so to this day, I would sometimes get thinking about touching door handles, because every day I'd just be zapping myself.
Yep.
And at one point, I can remember going to reaching for this box, and seeing the spark go from the box to my hand, and just being like, I was like sitting there for a bit going, now I remember in science there was something about like the distance of the spark telling you something about the voltage. And I can't remember what it was, but I also can't feel my arm.
Yeah, it's 200,000 volts per centimeter dry.
Yeah. And that it was because it was just shy, like at a guess, it was like shy of a centimeter.
Yeah.
So I hadn't touched
and
the box.
wet air is also much more conductive than dry
Yeah.
air, which is the way they always specify the dry air gap.
And obviously, air conditioning in the building like that, but I couldn't feel my arm for the day, so I was like, I don't know if this is safe. Is this?
No,
this
it's not.
This can't be correct. But
It's also just the
well.
most mundane superhero origin story.
Yeah.
Postal boy.
Wait till I tell you that I could run the franking machine by sound. People kept walking in, seeing me reading. Shouldn't you be working? It's like, I am. And then they're like, no. And then the machine would change noise, and I just pick up a block of something and put it into the machine without looking. And they went, oh. Carry on.
I don't have any electrical danger experiences. Other than that,
lighting designer.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like both, like.
You've gotten shortchanged. There should be at least one electrocution there.
Look, you would think so. I've been through so much electrics training in various ways. But the major one for me, the only one that I can think of, is like getting traumatized by being out in a thunderstorm, walking my sister home, and a tree exploded near us, and so that was an experience. That's an experience.
That's
an experience. That's it. That's all I've got though.
Any purple sparkles?
I was running. I don't remember. I think my brain may have blocked out the experience a little bit because it was terrifying. I'm still scared of lightning because of that. Like that's I'm like, I like looking at lightning. Don't put me out in it, please. It's scary.
I was very aware at one point that I was in a storm in like a tin milk shed. Just being like, God, I hope this is fine.
Milk shed.
It's out on a farm.
I mean, I guess.
But there
are very few tin milk sheds in downtown Canberra.
I didn't expect. I just didn't expect it to be said.
At some point, we basically heard this massive crack, and we sort of glanced outside, and there was a tree like 20 meters away. It had clearly been struck by lightning because there was a coil of scorch mark going down it. And I'm like, I'm going to continue not touching anything. Resolutely not touching anything in this room until it stops. I'm just not. I'm okay. It's fine.
Michelle, I just want to say that you clearly know nothing about Australia if you think that there is no tin-roofed milk sheds in downtown Canberra.
Oh, actually, yeah, Canberra specific. That's true.
Yeah.
Our capital is very little more than a fine.
It is. I'm in Brisbane, and it's not difficult to sort of pick a direction, drive for a little bit, and hit farmland.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
Pretty, and it's like from like city to suburb to farm.
That's actually the experience here. Yeah, that's the experience here in PEI. No, the last time I saw it, all joking aside, the only thing I actually much know about Canberra, honestly, is that the civic buildings there are just gorgeous pieces of architecture.
Yeah,
boring though. Canberra's boring. I can't. I spent 3 weeks there, and I just don't want. I'm sorry, but it's boring.
What are you apologizing?
I don't know. All of
Whoever from Canberra is watching. Yes.
Canberra, I'm sorry, but I'm also not at all sorry. Your city is boring as fuck.
Oz has stopped following. Oh.
Like I cried with boredom.
It took me a long time to find the not boring bits of Canberra.
And that's like most fun things happen in very quiet little places. And if you're not from Canberra, you don't stay.
Yeah.
You just don't. It's not. It's just not.
There's an amazing bar that called Molly's Bar here,
Mm.
which is built in the old Treasury building, and it is literally a speakeasy built into the old bank vaults, and
I've been
like
there.
the vault
So
doors are still there.
Oh, that's
So
gorgeous.
it's like very, very cool, and they do a lot of like live jazz performances and stuff there. I don't think anyone's gotten electrocuted there recently.
Oh,
Not recently.
I was just gonna say
I
complete
do
non
have
sequitur
a,
then.
I do have a story from this week about movie magic though, because you were talking about like Frankenstein sets and stuff. I saw for the first time a picture of the Addams Family set in color,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a trip
The colours
because
it has to
like
be.
it's so iconically all black and white,
Yep.
but of course to get that effect on film,
Mhm.
it was flooded with color
Yes.
Yep.
because they needed all the different.
Everything that would produce a fascinating shade of gray. Yep.
Yeah.
Their house is like, it is really funny. It's like their house is actually incredibly pastel.
Yeah, exactly. They're wandering around in this like pink draped house, and it's
Yeah.
like, hang on a minute.
I've been had. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. Let's get to it, because I am being a psychologist,
Dum dum
and
dum.
I'm slowly working us back. So tell me, Michelle.
No. No.
Yes, you specifically.
No.
Tell me. Yes. Yes.
You're being a psychologist, thus I'm being resistant. That's my job for
Fine.
psychologists.
Be resistant. Be absolutely resistant. It's absolutely your job. That's entirely your prerogative. But
Well,
while you
no,
are
that's your job
resistant,
security. I'm just gonna say it's also your job security.
well, I mean, no, no.
We're not
No.
running short of people that need anyway.
Yeah, my wait list is too long.
Not in
I
not
need
in
people
Ano
treated.
Comatose.
Get
Not in
treated,
Ano
get out.
Comatose.
Please
Yeah,
do
exactly.
homework and leave, so I can see new people to give homework. Then leave.
I ain't
Aha,
never done
and
homework
now
in
we
my
find
life.
out-
I ain't about to start now.
I want to do
And I'm
myself
just-
out of a job. That is my job.
And I was just gonna say, now we find out the dirty truth that Chantal is in fact a cog in the machine of big psychology.
Big psychology has the opposite view. Big psychology is like, no, don't prevent, just treat. Don't prevent, just
Yep, I
treat.
know.
And I come in with my research going, hey, what if we prevented something? And they're like, oh, hang on,
Oh, I don't know.
hang on. We've got a new one. We need to talk about this. Michelle, you're distracting me.
Yep, and it worked.
Briefly, for 2 minutes, it worked.
But I take my victories as I find them.
Okay, fine. You take that victory. Jamie, what are you up to?
Muted my mic. What am I up to?
Yeah, tell me about your life. Tell me about like what do you do that people need to know about, like, you know, that kind of thing. That's
Very
safe for
little,
stream.
actually.
Okay.
I have retreated mostly from public life to live a quiet life amongst the
On the
country
farm?
town of Canberra.
You have retired.
No, I'm actually doing a really interesting job at the moment. I'm working for the Bureau of Statistics, contracting for the census, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
But not public facing at all. So, you know.
Yeah.
Did
Quiet.
you know?
Did I?
Because a lot of people don't, that the census is not only mandatory, but it's mandatory not in like the Australian way of like voting's mandatory, you'll get a $50 fine if you don't. It's
Yeah.
mandatory in the way like if you don't, you'll get a $6,000 fine
Yeah,
if you don't.
you have
It's
to.
like serious business.
Mhm.
And I think that's
Yeah.
like, I as someone who has just always done my census because it's the thing you do, I'd never really thought about that before.
Oh, I did think about that. They had a couple of question changes a few years ago, and
Yeah,
I
they did.
did not want to fill it out, and then they changed something, and I was like, okay, because I was like, no, I don't
Yeah.
even remember what the question was, but at the time I was like, oh, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
But
I
I
think
don't know.
they removed a question for the first time in like 50 years this year, and it was one of the newer questions,
What
which
did they?
was,
Are you allowed to say?
do you, yes, I can, because this
Okay.
is public facing. They removed a question which was, does your household have access to the internet? It's
So it's just assumed.
yeah, it's now like generally assumed that all households have access to the internet
That's fascinating.
in some form or another.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, with the with smartphones,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously they have to get to a certain point before it's statistically insignificant.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah, yeah. Like, my life is numbers. Yes. That is correct. Huh. Census data is sad and good.
Mm-hmm.
As someone that uses census data to inform my research. Sam, take me out of
Hi.
my pit of statistical despair.
Oh, okay.
What do you do?
Don't do
just
it.
that was it.
Yeah. Don't be in that pit. Oh, okay.
Okay, cool, thanks. How are you going? What's the deal? What's the do's?
Good. Yeah. Been Well, today has been getting clothes for my brother's wedding,
Ooh.
so that I'm not naked when I'm there, I guess,
have
which
the
was a
option.
concern.
Who was concerned?
No, I don't know where I'm going with that.
I was just going to say everyone who isn't Beta said, I think.
I mean, well, arguably, your wedding suit would be different to your birthday suit, unless your wedding is on your birthday.
That's just poor planning.
Especially if it's winter.
Not my wedding, it's his wedding.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, I don't like clothes shopping. It's just sort of it's always that sort of like what did I say afterwards? It's like, it's one of the really quick ways to be reminded that, how large I am, I guess. And it's like, it's that and photos. Photos probably beat it in speed, but gosh, does clothes shopping really draw it out?
Mm-hmm.
So I had a great moment with the very lovely sales attendant, asking what my pant size was, and I was like, oh, I mean, like last time I checked, it was this, and then they gave me a look which I recognize, which was very much, you're wrong. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. We're going to use a tape measure to do that. And I was like, cool, thank you for telling me that. That's information I definitely needed. Or he's like, it's already a store designed for big people. Telling me that I've gone up a bunch is this is gonna be a fun hour. Let's go.
Chantel, what about you?
No, you first.
No, you first.
I can do this forever.
That's the point. I'm still
know.
winning.
That's not the point. That's
I'm not
the problem.
left-handed either.
I am resistant to anything that's not fun. And at the moment, my thesis is not fun.
Yes, that.
Yeah, I want it finished, but for it to be finished, I have to do it.
Yes, that.
I don't understand because no one told me.
No
one explained this to me, and I feel like they should have. Also,
why can't I subcontract my thesis?
frankly, I feel like when you get to this point, it should be fine. I also realized today, while I was talking to a friend who also has the adult,
The worst part is I understood what you just said, and I don't know why, and that really bothers me inherently.
That's good. Correct. That is the correct answer. Um, uh, I was talking to this person about my thesis and how I'm sitting around doing none of it. And she was like, "So ADHD then?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's kind of like that thing where, you get to 90% completion in a game and then you go, well, I'll just leave it here. That's cool. I'm good." Except that it's something that's taken me 4.5 years. And now I'm like 6 months out and I'm like, I'll just be a cat about it. I'll just be a cat. Just keep not doing it. So, anyway, what do I do? On a Monday, I play Gehenna Academy, which is a Monster Hearts game, and that's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time at Gehenna
So
Gaming.
fun.
It's so fun. It's so fun. Everything's going wrong. It's wonderful. I love
The
it.
GM swings a pretty hefty irony bat.
Oh, yes, he does. Yes, he
No,
does.
I was watching that and just the whole attitude just from as the GM watching their particular style.
Mm.
Um, little details like wearing sunglasses,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Makes such a difference. It's so weird.
Oh, absolutely. It sets theme and it sets tone, and it does something which is really, really disturbing to most people. By definition, you can't see the GM's eyes. You lose you lose the very human connection that eyes give you. So as a GM, that's a really powerful aesthetic thing.
Yes. I mean, he doesn't do it every session. It was purely because they were out partying that night.
Oh, okay.
So
Fair
that
enough.
was that session. Cannot guarantee will happen next session. Depends on what happens.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Um, and it was for particular characters as well. So
Fair
other
enough.
characters he swapped glasses out. Um, but yeah, that's a fun game. I'm enjoying that. Um, I'm also running a game
Yay!
because like now I'm a GM, I guess. Um,
Yay!
and that's fun. And everything is awful. They're so toxic, and I love it. I love it. I love it
I
so.
tuned in for half of that episode live, and it was it was Teenage Dirtbag the musical. It was amazing.
It's so
I
good.
just gonna say, oh, this is Monster Hearts again?
This is
Yeah,
Monster Hearts again, but this is the game
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
running.
yeah,
I
yeah,
ran
yeah.
it.
Okay, sorry. No,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it's awful. I really do need to sit down and read a copy of those rules because as soon as Jamie said it was so toxic, I was thinking they must be playing Monster Hearts.
That's it. That's exactly how you should know that it's Monster Hearts. Is that it was horrifically toxic, and just it's so
Teenage Dirtbag the musical,
messy.
love it.
And so we're having a time skip by 2 weeks, and so what I
Mm-hmm.
did was start a server so that the characters could all interact. And it's so messy, and they've
Oh
all been
God.
scheming, and
Mm.
I'm looking at it going, I'm just gonna chuck characters together and sit back and see what happens. I'm not planning a damn thing.
Welcome to my world.
I'm gonna just watch. 'Cause when someone asks me a question, sure. Here's some big text. Here, let me tell you where we've been. This is where you are now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I
Be
deeply
messy.
appreciate this.
And it got to the point where I was asking one of the players to roll dice off camera, like during this week, I asked a player to roll dice because they were trying to do something, and I was like, hang on. You've got 6 rolls here. Do it and tell me what happens, then I'll narrate what actually does happen, and that's where you're starting next session. So I'm excited for that. That's going to be fun.
Fantastic.
That will be tomorrow. Yeah, it's Saturday for everyone. In fact, almost 13 hours from now, it will be then. No. Yes, no. 20,
Yes, no.
25 hours from now.
Yes.
Sunday at this time.
Yes.
In an hour.
Yes.
We've talked about the fact that I don't do numbers well.
Got there.
Yes.
We've talked
I'm just going to say, I will also point out that literally your job is numbers.
Literally, my job is the manipulation of numbers that have been handed to me. I can tell you a story from numbers. I am not a number. I am not a math, but if you hand me numbers and say, tell a story from this, I can do that easily. I'm also a writer on Omens Rising, which is a narrative TTRPG, which will be coming here in, I must say, a month and a half, might be 2 months.
Yay.
We'll see. And we will keep everyone updated as that happens. I will be playing in a pre-alpha stream of that starting in I think it starts next week or the week after, but I will keep everyone updated with that too.
Yay.
Yay. Michelle? Do we just skip to the intro, or are you gonna tell us what you're doing?
No, I'm just gonna say I'm totally cool about going now. I've succeeded in forestalling my fate for almost 12 minutes.
Yeah, congratulations.
I mean, rolling the intro at the half-hour mark, it's not bad.
It's not the half-hour mark. It would be the 31-minute mark if we started now.
Yeah.
Please go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, no, for sure. Gaming. I do gaming. That's it. Yes. So yeah, obviously I'm storyteller GM for this fantastic group of folks. Also run 2 other games, and if you're interested in hearing me tell stories about those games, most Sunday mornings Eastern time, I do a game diary and do all of my game prep online for upcoming games. So if you want to see maps made, if you want to see sort of what happens behind the GM screen, because a lot of players and wannabe GMs have no idea how much prep goes into games that don't seem to take any prep. So that's what I do Sunday mornings. Drop in. You can meet up with me, 902PE Gaming, on Twitch. I also have a trio of books, which are not a trilogy, available on Amazon, both steampunk and dieselpunk, for those folks who are interested. Both of them are described as strongly character-driven dramas. And the first set, which is the Solder Diaries, I'm told should have won an award for most frustrating romance ever written.
Why were you writing about my teenager?
To win
Because
an
there's a
award.
universal theme there that everyone can tap into. And yeah, in addition to that, recent blog post on me about my other hobby, now that it is springtime in the Maritimes, from Maritime Canada, Atlantic Canada, and I've just started rebuilding my aquaponics system. So if you check out my website, Michelle Vaillancourt, just check the link I posted down in the chitty chat thing, because you're never spelling that in English. You can hit my blog site and talk to you about how last season went and how this season's hoping to go. And I think that's me for now. I have a book coming out probably this time next year, and if I can collectively get my stuff together, a Kickstarter I want to launch to get this bunch of folks, as well as a few others, to do the radio play, if you will, or actually audiobook of my third novel, because I think that would be outstanding to have you folks voice that. So I just need to actually sit down and write the prep material and possibly and then get you guys to do. I am going to need you to do a live reading, so I need to figure out how much that's going to, because I don't want to take your time for free. So what I want to do is, part of the Kickstarter is basically get you and a couple of other people who are going to be the voice actors for SAME to do a couple of pages as a chunk for, that we can record video and audio and post that up as part of the Kickstarter. So that's a thing that I need to sit down and figure out which part of the book, and then call agents and stuff like that. So yeah, coming soon to a Kickstarter near you. And I think that's me for now.
That's you.
Yeah.
Before we get distracted by anything, I'm going to run the intro. Ha!
Sure.
Ha! And we're back.
Huzzah.
A finely tuned machine.
Something.
Something. I just want you
Now
to
that
know,
we're
I managed to cut 10 minutes off of the last time that we did one. Just saying,
I was just gonna say.
I can handle time. It just takes more effort. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Right then. So let's start with the obvious, embarrassing question. Does everyone have Syrinscape turned on?
Yes.
No.
I have to, or else, you know. Why? Why is that important?
So, Spider, my man, why don't you give us a quick summary of events from Spider's perspective? Diary room time.
Well, Alexandria and I had a little outing to set up some business connections for our upcoming trip into the plains. She made more of those weird plant birds.
More.
And these ones don't seem to be going away.
Awkward.
So that's going to be easy to hide. Mysel had disappeared, but given that he's a centuries-old psychic reverse aging dragon half boy, I figured it was probably fine.
Probably fine. What could possibly go wrong with that, right?
Yeah, and so disguised as the Tarantino tumblers, we met with an old associate of mine, Braxa, and set up a potential pipeline for any valuables that we managed to secure. Once we make it to Cliff Spider. Braxa's not exactly like a trustworthy individual, but they do like business, and also she's kind of thick, so it's okay that I feel like she's unlikely to recognize that I'm me, given even the barest deception. So I think we were okay. Except when, Mysel just sort of appeared in the middle of the room. That was maybe a little bit of a giveaway that something was going on.
Awkward, yep.
But yeah, no, a relatively successful first venture, I'd say.
All right. So what is the grand plan from your perspective?
Well, Braxa is going to hook us up with a pilot to fly us up to Cliff Spider. At which point we'll set up a base of operations and take the lay of the land, and at some point we would like to go and visit the wreckage of my grandfather's airship and see if there's any clues as to the fate of Lucas Sr. Alexa is worried I'm going to sell weapons of mass destruction. I think she overestimates my pragmatism.
Okay. Yeah, Alexandre.
Yes?
What are your thoughts and recollections of recent events?
Well, I made scramble and oat,
Mm-hmm.
which is very
Not
good.
breakfast.
No, not scrambled oats. Scramble and oat. My two birds.
Right.
I'm very happy. I like them. They're very cute. They're very loud. And they don't know how to use a space bar.
No.
So everything is one word. I want to teach them how to use individual words. But I think they're still too young, maybe. Sort of the opposite of babies, where they don't know how to use any words and then they learn some words. I don't know. Also, Spider is very much like his father. And that's, to be expected at the end of the day. But it somewhat concerns me that what he wants to do is put Lucas in charge, because he wants to put Lucas in charge. That's the end of it. I'm concerned about that. Really, no one should. I don't even think Lucas should put Lucas in charge.
Okay.
Also, we're being followed, and we're being followed, and we're being followed. I'm being followed, or someone's trying to watch me again. And I don't like that at all.
Oh yeah, we're also being followed.
What?
There's someone actually following us.
There is someone following us, and there is someone looking for us. Both.
Both?
Both.
Both is good.
Both.
Both's
No,
bad.
both bad.
Both is so
Both
bad.
bad. What were you thinking? Both bad. Why are you in here? It's quiet
sorry,
time for me.
Yeah, I just needed to grab the porridge.
No, leave oat here. Also, I don't know what La Chanson wants, but I want to know before I get there to think about it, because it's asking me to do the same thing that it asked Grammaire to do, and that seems counterproductive. That's the end of that sentence.
Okay. And I guess that brings us to Marcel. What do you think of all this, Marcel?
Well, turns out if I leave them alone, they go hang out with really dangerous people.
Leave them without supervision for 5 minutes.
But really, I mean, overall, been a while since Hio and I have been active, I guess, in helping people. For a while, it's been mostly keeping to ourselves and trying to find some kind of solution to our situation. But, we help what we can, but that hadn't been the focus. And on one hand, it's great. I love it. That's why I started in the first place. But I mean, you spend all this time trying to help people, and you do good, but it's the sort of big good, toppling petty tyrants and crazy wizards and very large, powerful people trying to become more powerful at the expense of less powerful people. And then you get reminded that it's not just the big evils, it's the little evils. And that after however long, 1,000+ years, if not more, it's still the same. It hasn't changed. I don't think I responded to that very well. But it does mean I think it's time to be less. It's time to get back into it. We've taken ourselves out for too long. And now we're being followed. It's been a while since I've been followed by someone and not noticed. Actually impressed. It's also been a while since I've read someone's mind without asking, so less impressed with that. But sometimes you just got to do it. Oh, ever forward, I guess.
All right then. So I believe we had left our intrepid heroes literally on a city street with the realization that they were being followed while being watched. So then what?
Clarify because it was Spider noticing that this person was following, but they were following Mysel specifically, not the others. But it was the impression.
I was just going to say yes. What Spider was able to identify, because in fact it was Spider that had spotted, was that they were following Mysel. He was able to determine that immediately, based on body language, who they're looking at in the group, that sort of thing. Their attention is focused on Mysel,
which makes sense because Mysel is the only one that is not currently in a disguise.
Right.
But also, speaking of disguise, were they disguised as a tiefling, or were they actually a tiefling?
They were disguised as.
Right. Yes.
Or let's just say either that or they're the world's ugliest tiefling. You can't figure out which. Spider's of the opinion it's it's what happens when someone is told what a tiefling looks like and builds a disguise based on that description.
Fun.
Perhaps not.
Which reminds me, tiefling is actually, and this is actually, before we go any further, two things. Tiefling is actually a branded item with WotC. So we're going to have to come up with a new name. I'm probably, just because of the world, going to start calling them Helkin. Okay? Just so... just in the same way that I was obligated to rename the Arakoa, because the Arakoa are in fact owned by Blizzard in one spelling and WotC with another spelling.
Is there hell? Because that's an implication.
I was just going to yes, because that's the I was just going to say they're the creation story as you guys have glimpsed it is that the world was created as a scrimmage match between heaven and hell, where the right. You
said it was between
yes, but okay, so yes, so this again, for want of and I'm using HEL, not HELL, because I'm not talking about the Christian view of. I mean, infernal holding box.
Okay.
Right. It is the Midgard of conflict, for lack of a better way of putting it. Between the fiends of opposition and the prime divinities, right? And so so I like I say, I'm open to a better word right now, but the one I keep Fiendkin sounds weird to me for some reason.
Are they related? Like, are they actually?
So officially, yeah, very much in the way anybody who looks like Hellkin, Tiefling, whatever you want to use, is presumed to have in the past, somewhere in their bloodline, signed an infernal contract.
Okay, so contract, not uh, blood, if that makes sense.
Right. It is not procreation, it is ramification.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to understand the.
Yeah. So,
What was the new name for the Aarakocra?
Please hold. I will copy pasta. I've actually just and I've just posted the bit of the article to the World Anvil site, but I will post I will post all of that in chat so it's easy to find. Blizzardy Bluffy Blue, and then I need
full fixie, full
yeah.
No, yes, full 60.
Full yes, full 60. Full 60.
Full 60. Okay.
Yes. As in turn slowly. They can only do a full 60.
Oh, I'm sure they love that joke too.
Did they give themselves this name?
It's actually a translation from the Giantkin, which means the winged folk.
So the Giantkin are to blame for this.
Just one moment here.
I'm just wondering where to direct my angry letter.
At some point goes back in time, creates the Wasting Plague as vengeance on puns.
You know, you say that as a joke, however.
I say that as a warning.
Yes. Good. You know me. We've met.
All right, and just give me a moment here. And this is the World Anvil quote link. If I can find the bloody window of the games, and there we are. There. So yeah, that is. I'm fleshing that out as I go. But
I don't have the necessary rights to view that link.
Oh, that's awkward. Why is
you know what's
that?
also awkward? When I go to find out about my grandmother and I don't have the necessary authorization to know anything about her. I'm like, oh. Oh.
No draft.
Romero, what have you been doing? Tell me, please. I want to know.
Here we go. Fixed. Sorry about that. So yeah. Hopefully that's helpful. Close that, and then so there we go. But yeah, so I'll get you some more details on. But for now, I'm just using. I'm not a fan of it. I need to come up with something better. But I'm trying. But for now, it's just helping. Okay. Leaning on the I don't want for whatever reason my brain is telling me that using a Giantkin translation would be a mistake, so I need to work out a whole other language and then tell you what it is in that language, and I'll get back to you. But for now, like I said, I just want to get away from the term tiefling.
Depends on their origins, really.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing before we go any further,
and what they call themselves, because they probably don't call themselves that.
So Michelle would like to remind the players that we do have safety tools in use at the table. I know that there are a whole bunch of different ways to do it, but I use essentially the rugby system. Yellow is stop while yellow card is stop while we sort this out. Red card is we're done for today. Okay. So all I need you to do, I do not need explanation, is just PM me yellow card. And that means I will just ask Chantel to immediately, I need to take a break right now. Can you drop us to the break? And then I will either chat with the player and sort it out after a couple of minutes where we all have a chance to cool down, come back, chat about whatever the circumstances. If someone PMs me with red card, I will just say, I have an emergency, I have to go. And we will just end the stream at that point, and then over the next couple of days, I will chat with the person, and we'll figure out what went wrong. Okay? So that is, and I will strongly encourage folks to use those tools. We're all in some way theater folks, you folks far more than me, but all of us have a psychological pressure to perform. We are, in front, and so there would be the tendency to keep dancing with a broken ankle, for example.
I did not. Wow. Wow, it was dislocated shoulder and a dislocated knee, and I didn't need that attack. It was a fractured ankle. I did not need that attack, please.
Mine was a torn hamstring and a severe back injury. I don't know what you're talking about.
My back injury did not need to come into this, Jamie, please. Whew, all of a sudden, that was all of a sudden it got personal. So, what were you saying?
So
Please.
The point was,
we have to go on break.
Because I know us all that well, just do it anyway, for lack of a better way of putting it. All right, folks. I want this. I will straight up admit this, because of my background, I am straight up most likely the person to cause a problem at the table. So I want you all to feel safe. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, on with the game. Right then. So we're standing on a street corner, about halfway between the warehouse district and the guilds and merchants core of the city. When you realize you're being followed, to borrow a phrase from Firefly, don't look now. I think we're being followed.
Oh no.
Huh. I don't know if I'm slipping or he's really good.
Who? What?
It's one of my father's men following us.
Where? Where are they? Where? Alexandria's doing the look. The look's happening. No one stopped her from doing the look. She's doing the look. I'm so subtle.
I'm not worried about that, because I would actually like to reach out telepathically.
Uh-oh.
I figured you might want to do that.
To who?
To them.
Oh.
All right, one sec.
Yes.
Is this a knock on the door? Or is this a I'm here now, hello?
See, I don't have to knock on the door. That's a courtesy.
That's why I was asking.
Some people don't get a vote.
They don't have to answer. But, so they would just mentally hear, there's some very unpleasant terms for people who follow children around.
It's funny as hell. Right then, hang on a second. I actually am going to have to, because I just want to, I think this is funny, I'm going to actually roll some dice here. Let's see what we get. The probably not a tiefling. The probably not a tiefling panhandler, I guess is the better way of saying it. It kind of grinds to a halt. You can just see the slight left-right glance around, confirming that there's no one, for lack of a better way of putting it, that there's no one who's good at ventriloquism standing in reasonable range. Because that's the easy answer, right? And then they kind of step off to a side and lean up against a lamppost and harangue someone for a handful of coppers for a poor guy down on his luck. And then they casual glance around, waiting to see if that noise happens again.
Oh, I'm not there. And I think if you pay attention a little bit, you'll realize you're not hearing this.
Well, that's not terrifying, is it?
Right then. So now, what are the odds? That is not good odds. No, oh, actually, it's not a bad roll. There's going to be this kind of awkward, the mental equivalent of, is this thing on?
There you go. Now you're getting it.
Oh, fuck. All right, so who's this?
Oh, I'm the kid you're following.
Oh, I was afraid of that. So let me. Okay. So I tell you what, since you've called, is that what you call this?
No, but it works.
Fair enough. Do you happen to know where Jasper is?
I do, yeah.
Excellent. Do you mind if I just keep following you until I find him?
Yeah, a little.
Okay. How come?
Well, I understand that the guy you work for is not that nice.
Oh,
and also that he
okay.
doesn't actually really care about Jasper. Or
Yeah,
Lucas,
see,
for
that's
that matter.
Yeah, see, that's the catch. I'm trying to warn Jasper about something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could pass it on.
The sensation you get is indecision. All right, I'll risk it because it's not like anyone's going to believe a fuzzy redheaded kid's a telepath. Look, his dad is going to have this city crawling with about 15 hired bounty hunters within the next day. Tell him to get the hell out of town, okay? I'm willing to take his dad's money, but it doesn't mean I have to agree with all of his dad's ideals about a good time. But obviously, I can't get seen warning him. Okay. You're right. This isn't about the boys, but that doesn't mean Dad won't miss a target of opportunity. Okay.
No, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thanks. This didn't go the way I thought it was.
Yeah, well, I also understand what you thought you saw, and that's the reason I'm not wearing a uniform. You know what I mean? I was trying not to. I was just trying to show up, deliver a message, and vanish without anyone knowing what the hell it was I was about. So, because the last thing I need is for word to get back to my boss about what it is I just did. All right.
No, that makes sense. I'll make sure he knows. Thank you.
That's pretty much the opposite of what I just asked.
Not your bot, Jasper.
Oh, thank you.
Make sure Jasper. No, okay. So I see. Yeah, that's on me.
All right. Thanks, I guess. And if you're talking to Lucas, let him know that a few of the folks miss him. Okay.
Yeah, I'll let him know when I see him.
All right, great. And the tiefling blunders into someone, causes a horrible scene where everyone's staring at him, and then ambles off down a side road and vanishes from sight.
Well, it was that one.
Which one?
The one
just left.
Ruckus.
Oh, was that bad sneaking?
Correct.
Okay. Like, even for me, that's bad sneaking.
Well, he didn't need to be here anymore, so he made a point of knowing that he was going.
Where did you send him?
I didn't send him anywhere.
What did you do? Where is he? What does he think he's seeing?
I didn't. We had a chat.
Oh.
What did you think I did?
I thought you did to him what you did to Spider.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't,
Why did you look up?
because you're taller than me
Oh.
by like a foot.
I mean, not. No. You really can't see.
Mm.
There are two of you. Okay.
I'm not taller.
No, we had a conversation, and it didn't go the way I thought it would, but it wasn't bad, I guess. He was there to warn you, looking, facing Jasper.
On me. What? What?
We need to talk about a bunch of things, but we also need to get out of the city, like now, or before tomorrow.
Michelle, did we get like a location that we're meeting the full City?
You were going to be if I recall correctly, your new friend needs to talk to Bruxa, make arrangements, and then get back to you.
Okay.
So we don't know how long that's gonna take.
Right.
Let's find somewhere we can talk.
Back to the inn.
I mean, do we need to get out of the city, or do Spider and Alexandria need to get out of the city?
Isn't this the same thing?
Of course not, veiled priestess.
Very much the latter, but the former makes it easier.
Very hard for our contacts to make contact if we're not in contact.
I know.
I'm gonna defer to the psychic child on this one.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that at all. I don't like that. No. I don't.
Awkward.
I understand why you said it. I understand why it's important. I did not like the sound of that. I'm sorry, my soul. That's not. What are we doing?
Getting
Why
out
are
of the
we-
city
Well,
a time.
I think we should have a conversation first somewhere where we're not going to get overheard. And I think there's two suggestions. We can do what we did before, or I could arrange so that we could talk privately.
Or we could just go to our room where it's warm
Yeah?
and stock up on scrambled eggs, because if we have to leave fast, I don't know how to cook some.
I mean, it's just eggs and like milk.
Can you make some?
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to stock up
Most
on
people can
eggs.
make scrambled eggs, Alexandrine.
Well, I mean, that's great, but I can't. And now
Well-
I have two birds that, that's what they want to eat. So I'm just trying to make sure everyone gets fed.
Be a fun, teachable moment.
What?
Learning how to make scrambled eggs.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't need to know how to make it. Both of you know how to cook scrambled eggs.
What if we're not around?
Alexandri, they're your children. You've got to look after them.
It's a responsibility.
Can I give it back? Can you have the? I don't.
I'm not the one who made them.
Yeah, that's the one who made them. Okay.
We do need. I do need to, I guess, share a bunch of information though. So we should make back. And I don't think it'd be a good idea for us to get overheard, given vague gesturing towards where previously being followed.
Alexandre walking towards
Yeah.
the inn the whole time, just
Yeah.
going in a direction.
Okay.
His point was also, but if you want to know now, we can set up a telepathic call.
No. I don't. No, I don't like. No, because once you have put a line in, it's very difficult to disconnect it.
That's not how it works at all. But
I mean, that's once you've made the holes in the wall, it's very difficult to just plug those back up and make it look like the wall looks before you did that.
it's still not at all how it works. But okay. I respect that you don't want to do it. That's fine.
I am uncomfortable. I already have a song in my head.
All right, so you folks began your stroll back uneventfully and unmolested back to your inn. Arriving at the inn,
Once we
you
get there,
arrive.
Yay!
Marcel will set up like a phantasm bubble to not let sound out, essentially, so they can chat.
Sure.
So I've been learning about your dad.
Wow, what a way
And
to start a
I-
conversation.
Sorry, I do appreciate you just like let out.
It was an accident.
That was amazing. Just
Turn
blue
my video
screen.
off as soon as you said it.
Nope.
No. Jasper shuts down.
Far too early for this nonsense.
Anything you wish to share with the class?
Ever since what happened to me happened, and I got essentially, well, we like to describe it as getting shunted out sideways by reality.
Yeah, that makes it really clear.
Yeah,
All the shuntings.
that's the simple version as well. So, it's been fun. But I've always been able to, connect with other people's minds. But since I found I can kind of connect with the universal consciousness to get information about things that have happened or sometimes things that will happen. And so after we discovered that one of your father's bodyguards was in the city and had seen us, and after we discovered that you ticked kind of like I do, as Alexandre described it, I thought I would go and find out what he was after, specifically, in case that would be useful. Wasn't ready for it, really. How it made me feel. How to practice, I guess. Because Ulardi was after one of you, or thinking he might be after Lucas. He's not.
There's a bounty on our head, Maisel.
Yeah. On your head, on Lucas, and on Alexandre. And on property. He didn't care about Alexandre, and he didn't care about you, but he also didn't care about Lucas. He just wanted Chevalier.
Yeah, that tracks, actually.
Yeah, that's the impression I get.
Just like that? Is that tracks? That's it?
I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah. So I went off. Try to sort through some things myself. Hit a little closer to home than I was hoping it would. But then I came back to find you and walked in on your little meeting. Apologies for that. But you seemed real interested about what that lady was. Well, what she knew. Not really sure what the context was, but I thought given the situation I should check, so I had a little look, I guess.
Can't they tell when you do that?
Not if you do it right.
That doesn't make it less scary. Okay.
This is why I normally ask.
So,
But, you know,
wait,
some people...
what you do, is that the same thing as what someone's trying to do to me?
No. Well, I mean, I could do something similar, but like that's finding where you are. Like if I wanted to find a person, I could do that if I was familiar with them. I could probably locate them within a fair radius. But this is more tapping into what they're thinking, what their memories are. But it's only really like recent things. And if with time, I could probably go deeper and go further back. But if you're being subtle about it, the longer you're there, the more likely the mind is to notice and shunt you out. And then, well, they notice. But your father's people, they spoke to her yesterday. Two guards in the same gear, the green, was it green and gold?
Yes. That is the color scheme of the Verdant Honor, which is Cedric's personal guard, the Verdant Honor.
Same people I saw him talking to when I checked what he was after. And there was a third person that I didn't recognize. Seemed to be in charge. They were demanding she tell them what she knew about, well, you. If you'd made contact, that sort of thing. She was very on edge. And then just now, well, we had someone trying to find Alexandre, and I tried to track them back, see where they were coming from, see if I could find them instead. And well, they're trying to see you from well outside of my range.
Still range.
So they're far away.
I don't think they're on this plane.
So they're very far away.
The Sky Anvil plane.
This plane is of existence.
Sorry, run that by me again.
So within there's multiple planes. So you might have like hell with the fiends, or the opposite with the gods. Those would be separate planes. There's this one that we're in.
From hell, Marcel.
No,
or
not necessarily.
Or not. Maybe there's
Just
another
not
option.
Here.
Maybe we just think about the other option instead.
There's more planes than just that.
Yeah.
That was just an example. But
I
it
mean,
means
we
that
met her. We know it's probably not the other option.
But I would prefer it be as the other option, and without knowing, I would much prefer we think about it that way, because I don't like the idea that Genevieve is literally trying to. I don't know. I don't know. But something hell, and I don't like that outcome.
those are just the two big examples. Like, more likely it's some small pocket plane that they've made to hide in. But the problem being that doing that that's a big deal. That's not small magic. And being able to try to reach out and look for someone from there to here, that's multiple stages above what I can do. Like, I could probably measure mine in miles. That's altogether different.
Whisper of the Wild. Where are we? An hour 21 in? How about that?
Yeah. We're starting
It's
the
a
show
new
earlier.
record.
Michelle
We're
said,
whispering the wild
why do we
earlier.
do it at the end of session? So
No. I said you guys write your own cliffhangers.
We
Because
do.
You keep doing it at the end of session.
so it's time to write my own hanging cliff.
Let's hang off a cliff
it's just about break
mid-show.
time. It's just about break time anyway. So it's the pre-break the pre-break cliffhanger. Yes.
The pre-break cliffhanger, assuming it's a cliffhanger, of course, because it might not be at all. But Alexandri's asking, is that you?
No.
Oh, no. Just worth checking. Just worth checking, you know? I just thought I would ask
all the uncontrolled sobbing.
all of the hey, let me get a tissue and it's fine. I'll just sit quietly. It's not La Chanson.
Well, that's good, at least.
Well, we know it's not. So that's one. That's one of any number of different entities. Almost literally any number of different entities. I will just have to ask once every so often and hope I get an
Is it
answer.
them? All right, I'll check tomorrow. What about that? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even per day, it's per session. So if we just...
The third guess, it's just like, yep. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Guessing a combination.
We've encountered 2 magicians who can travel at least through space. So
Two.
2. Jennifer and
Yes.
the blonde person who stole Luke.
Stormy McBlondelf.
Oh, Stormy McBlondelf. Yes. Unless
So
Stormy
whatever it is we're
McBlondelf is
stumbling our way
Jennifer.
into, there are powerful magics at hand.
Yay.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of assumed, but it's one thing to assume it, and it's one thing to look at it right in the eye, to use an expression.
You're doing it to yourself now. That wasn't either of us.
That was intentional.
Oh. I mean...
I got to watch the signal go beyond anything I could attempt to connect to. But the guy that was following me actually wanted to warn you, wanted to get a message to you without your dad knowing.
Yeah, that bit, I mean, I guess it's not...
He said that while he was happy to take your dad's money, that didn't mean he had to agree with everything that he did. And that him and more than a few others, well, didn't seem to like what had happened to you, and missed Lucas, so wanted to let you know that your dad's planning to flood the whole city with mercenaries tomorrow.
Right, I see. Yeah.
And just, I guess, brute force is their way into finding you, or Chevalier, as he hopes. But at the same time, as the guy said, not exactly a man to miss an opportunity if he finds you, or Alexandre for that matter.
But what would he do if there is no Chevalier? What's...
Kidnapping, torture, dismemberment. There's a few options on the table.
But why?
So that we'll tell him where what he wants is.
But I would just tell him if he asked.
And you think he's likely to believe you?
Well, I mean, if he tortures me, then I'll just tell him what he wants to hear.
That is usually the problem, yeah.
Because it hurts.
Yeah, torturing is a difficult art. It really requires knowing how to ask the right question.
I don't think
I find it's easier just to ask the right questions.
I prefer not torture, please.
Well, that was why his advice was to leave.
Okay. Let's do that then.
I've always been more of a proponent of hiding in plain sight. Just like gestures at the makeup, the fake beard, etc.
That's not hiding.
I mean, if you don't get noticed, the effect is the same.
If you don't get noticed by the people looking for you, the effect is the same.
But... Well, okay. So, all right. So, how long will it take to get the airship?
Bruxa said a few days.
Okay. Oh, no. So we have to leave now.
Well, a few days is the perfect amount of time to organize a show.
No. No. What? No, absolutely not. What? No.
But the world famous tumblers of Tarantino's tumblers.
Okay, so we're leaving the city. What do we need?
Not that that doesn't sound fun. It does. But I may have spoiled that by being seen with you. Because you can disguise me now, but at least one of his people knows that I've been with the two of you.
Bruxa saw you as you are.
And that one.
Bruxa is...
I saw.
that could put a lot of hitches in our plan.
Why are you still using the voice? You don't need to do that.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry.
You never needed to do that.
Long time on this persona, all right?
Yeah, I know, but
It's also just fun to do.
it's just fun to do.
Just try it out.
Just try it out. It's fun to do. Is that better?
One of your birds is now hanging upside down off a braid, looking at you in a very, very funny, with a very, very odd expression on its very little face.
Yeah, sometimes, I'm trying. I'm trying something new. You try something new, I try something new. It's fine.
As long as you just, do the tarot readings, I think it'll be fun.
No, what? Now?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes, the code word. We're done with the code word. If I say tarot reading, I mean do a tarot reading.
I can't. We talked about this. I can't do tarot readings.
I hate to tell you this, Alexandre. Nobody can do tarot readings.
Some people
It's
can.
fake.
No, it's not. It's really.
Except maybe Mysel.
I was just about to say, it's like, Michael literally just told you.
It's not fake. You just need to find the right people. I can put you in touch with someone who knows how to read good tarot. and can
I'm
also make
probably
good
good friends
taro.
with them, actually.
I think. What time is it? What time is it? Person telling us a story. What time is it?
Excuse
Hey,
me.
you
I'm
up
not
there?
being-
Hey you. Hey you. What time is it?
I would say it was late afternoon when you folks. It was late afternoon when you folks had your meeting with Brooks, and you've done a bit of back and there getting. You're coming up on supper.
Okay. It's coming up on supper. I have it on good authority. So the biggest problem is that we don't know where we're going. And if we leave at night from here, we will freeze to death. So, what do we do? I'm trying to be hopeful. This is a question anyone can answer. Scramble, oat, what do we do?
I
They
don't
immediately
know.
begin flying around your head.
Well,
I mean, you know this lady better than any of us, but if you told her that you'd stumbled upon transport, you didn't need their person anymore, but that didn't change the deal. You were still happy to deal and create a business thing. You weren't like taking their money. You were just like, we need stuff's happened. We are able to and need to leave, but we're still going to honor what we said. We're not trying to make it very clear you're not cheating her.
we can't say that. We can't say, hey, we need to leave now. Because now we know there are people coming. And so then people will be after us because they'll know that we left at that time.
People coming to look for Spider and the people who know Spider ran?
Yes.
Like, that sounds reasonable.
No, but
Like, she knows that.
she knows where we want to go.
Does she?
She's booking a whole ass airship
But like,
Not an airship like my
to
grandfather.
go to a place.
It's a Fork City ship. It's not like.
But we were supposed to be on it. So if they book, if we, okay, so imagine there's a little us, but also,
have you told her where you were going?
yes, we have to.
That you had a place to go.
How do you tell someone, hey, I'm trying to get to some place, but I don't want to tell you where it's going to be?
We told her we were going to Cliff Spider.
We had to. Because you can't book
But-
passage on something without telling them where you're trying to go.
Yes, but
If we disappear, that's good. Because then they don't know when we left or how. If we tell her we're going 24 hours before the city is flooded with mercenaries,
who know Mysel's face.
who know Mysel's face and know your face and know my face once they've taken off the disguises.
I will send her a message, and we should leave the city tonight.
Send her a message in 2 days. Because that way it looks like, oh no, we just fucked up.
I mean, you could warn her as well.
Why?
Because they're going to talk to her as well.
That's not our problem.
But if we warn her, then she's less of our problem as well. We alleviate any ill will from leaving sooner.
Who cares?
I mean,
She's-
she seems
I think-
like the
We're
kind
not
of
doing
person that-
anything for her. She's not doing anything for us. It's still 0.
I mean, I don't know her very well, but she seems to be the sort of person that would kill you over something like that.
Well, she would kill you if you don't give her anything and you take something. We haven't taken anything from her.
Sure, but I'm just saying we just head off the whole wanting to kill us part. There's enough
Everyone
people
wants to
after us,
kill us anyway.
so we make it less people.
I don't think this is a good idea.
I don't think we're
I've
in a
known
position of good
Bruxa
ideas.
for some time. How about you both just let me handle the situation?
Okay, but if I end up dead, I'm not going to be happy with you.
If you end up dead, I will accept that state of affairs.
If I end up dead, the likelihood is
Mhm.
I will come back
Mhm.
in some way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
I wish I didn't believe that.
Yes.
Ain't that just the truth?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of getting where we're going, obviously Hio can help.
Yeah. Yeah, it's looking more and more like we're going to need to take that option.
But it is cold and high.
And we don't know where we're going still.
Cliff Spider?
Oh,
Yes. Have you been?
Not for a while, but
Has
like
you been?
it's a it's a main city. You can get like a map.
And how long does it take to get there?
Did what's her name say? What
Probably
the
did.
journey should be like?
Well, yeah, it's basically what you were described was the overland route, which is, and with the assessment of it, you're not going there that way, because essentially it's the Andes Mountains.
Mm. So, blizzard. High up winds. Bad.
Yeah, there are, most of the easy routes are over 16,000 feet, 4,000, 5,000 meters. For those of you who don't know much about flying, most people run out of oxygen, enough oxygen to remain conscious at around 12,000 feet or around 4,000 meters. So there's a kilometer discrepancy there that needs to be sorted out if you don't want to be running into hills and mountains.
Alexandre can do the what's it called? The sustenance boon.
Yes. So she can make it theoretically that is not a problem for the most part.
Level 4 means you can breathe.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's not the problem.
I mean, it's one of the problems.
It is. Yes.
It is the
one
principal
thereof.
problem. In fact, you can wear fur coats, but no one's invented oxygen bottles yet.
Yes. I guess my problem. Does it? You can only have one instance of the boon in effect at any given time. My problem then becomes, I can help make it so that we can breathe, but hostile climate, also cold. What if it gets so cold, freezy cold, we could breathe until we're not breathing because it's too cold. That's where I go.
You telling me we need to do a shopping trip? Get warm clothes?
Yeah.
So how big a fur coat do you need for a dragon?
I feel like the tops of a mountain is where dragons, like, that's more comfortable there than anywhere else.
He's a little.
Particularly if the sun is behind them at an oblique angle with some clouds around. That's just perfect stuff.
That's Dragonland. That's what that is.
Like, leaping from mountaintop to mountaintop was kind of that's their whole jam.
I do like jam. Okay, so we fly.
Well, certainly need better gear, so we'll need to pick that up.
Okay.
Probably some
Yes.
supplies.
Yes.
I'll leave you two in charge of that.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
We literally just talked about it.
You sound suspicious.
I'm gonna leave a message for Bruxa.
Okay. It's not safe to go alone. Do you want to take a bird?
I definitely do not.
Why?
Can they
Why you
communicate with
say it
each
like
other?
that?
They are loud.
Did they communicate with each other?
Oh, I never thought to ask. Telepathy, please. May I?
Of course they do. They always talk to each other. In fact, if you want to hang out there,
But okay.
and besides, he's cool, and I'd love to hang off his hair. In fact, I'm going to hang on with him. I'm hanging out with him now. No, I am. No, it's my turn. No, I want to hang out with him.
You sort that
Okay,
out, and
I
they
haven't-
would be helpful for communication.
Yes, I know. I just thought for a
You
second.
now have two birds hanging, each of them hanging onto one shoulder. By the way, Spider, they're quite obviously bickering with each other and poking at each other through the back of your hair and running back and forth across your shoulders. And every once in a while, there's a very loud squawk as someone gets a tail feather pulled.
Okay, I am going to take one of you and just try to grab one.
No, but then he wins. I don't want him to win. No,
Oh, just for a moment. Just for a moment. And I'm going to leave the room.
Okay.
Hey, can you hear him?
Of course I can hear him. He's
But
wait a second. Where'd everybody go? How come? Oh, it's just you and me. Hi there.
Oh, you have a space bar. I just have to take you apart. Okay. Oh, okay.
I love the in-universe use of spacebar. I'm just.
So, you can still hear him, or you can still wait? Can you still hear him because you can hear him with ears, or can you hear him in your head?
You have this vague sensation of being that look that children reserve for dangerously stupid adults.
Uh-oh.
My ears are in my head.
Oh, very smart. She takes a few paces down the hall so that she's very much out of hearing range of Oat.
Okay.
Scramble, can you hear Oat from here?
Grammar question, which ear?
Can you hear?
You said here from here. Which ear is here?
Can you hear Oat right now?
No.
Okay, good to know. Wait, problem is I don't know if Oat's speaking. Okay, head back into the room.
Look.
Yeah, head back and look.
Which immediately resumes the 3-year-old rapid fire interrupting each other, and both of them have remarkably important things to tell you. Space barless IRC channel.
You know, they communicate better when they're separated.
I don't want them to communicate at all with me.
Well, so here's the thing though. If they did, then maybe we could start asking them to be lookout for you.
That would be very useful. When that happens, why don't you let me know?
Scramble, you're going to stay with me. Oat, can you go with him and
No.
let him
No,
know
no,
if
no,
there
no,
is
no.
anything
No, no, no.
dangerous that is happening? He has to learn.
Yay! Help! No, I want help! No,
I would cast telepathy on you, but I really don't think you want to hear what he's actually saying. Just pull his ear if he's being watched or followed. Okay?
Immediately begins pulling your ear.
Everyone, look away.
I just,
We got to
snatch
test
him.
this.
I try to snatch him in my hand.
No, don't. Oh! He needs to breathe. Spider, now. I will
Tell it to leave me alone.
let it go, or I will read you some tarot.
And immediately goes and hides in your hair.
Mine.
Yes.
I thought
Like,
so.
3 laps around the table, runs into the salt and pepper shakers, runs up your arm, and immediately hides in your hair.
That's fair.
You are now being assailed by running commentary from the two of them about the big evil nasty person who's hiding with you.
Spider, you have upset Oat.
I feel horrible about that.
No, you don't.
Really
You're
do.
lying to me immediately.
You're getting good.
If I just assume that you're lying, then I'm going to be right most of the time.
Very good.
Ooh, that's an advanced move.
Go alone. They don't trust you. Where are we going? Shopping. Let's go shopping. So we're going shopping.
All right.
Spider's doing what Spider does.
Mm-hmm.
Alexandria's going to just be talking to traumatized birds.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to take a break.
Okay.
Sound good? Hello.
Oh, hi.
So yeah. So what's the question there, Jamie?
Yeah, my question is, given Spider's previous knowledge of Bruxa, who's clearly capable and deadly individual, does he think he can take her? In the sense, like, could he go and sneak in and assassinate her in this very moment? Or maybe not this moment, but probably at night.
Yeah. So there is past Spider for whom the answer was certainly absolutely not. Bruxa is one of those individuals that, you know, had power to which Spider hoped to achieve. On the other hand, you know, Spider very recently went toe to toe with, you know, Velblerdran and Genefeva and is still standing.
Yeah.
Spider is also literally prideful to a flaw. I think the thing that is going to be bugging Spider most is that the one thing, and again, as I was commenting, he gets a base 16 on all of his Stevie stuff. So I think the one thing that is sticking out in his head is that the obvious security was too obvious. You know, the hyperspeed major domo, the gnome. I think it was the gnome. I'd have to double check. The person at the desk. Obviously, those are the social bodyguards. They're not the rip your throat out bodyguards. The last time you spent any amount of time hanging out with Bruxa, she had a preponderance of bruisers and no one guarding her socially. But she wasn't playing on her home turf either.
Did Mysel mention the guys behind the wall?
Nope, never did.
No, that's fair.
So I guess the thing that's, and in fact, that is what sort of prompted that observation from me, is I think the thing that is standing out is that you saw the opposite side of Bruxa here, and you don't think she's theater enough to have hired a bunch of thugs just to hang out with her at a meeting and at a industry meeting, as it were, in Shining Capital. She wouldn't have trusted anyone she could hire from Shining Capital, right? She would have brought her own bruisers along. So there are 6 very nasty chaps unaccounted for in the picture. Could Spider take them? Probably not all at the same time. Pick his targets carefully. Get lucky. Probably could work his way through the place.
I mean, the aim is not to deal with any of them, right? It's to sneak past all of them and get the one that you want.
Yeah, but the catch becomes is if things don't go well, what happens then, right?
Yeah.
The nightmare scenario is never getting caught at the beginning or never getting caught at the end. that's getting caught halfway through. Because then your target knows you're coming, and both directions are now a minefield. Right? But yeah, you give you're as long as you could get to her, you very much doubt she'd be able to that it would be a long-term that it would be a brawl between the two of you.
Right.
She's a mob boss. She's not a mob enforcer, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
The problem are her enforcers.
Okay, I'll have to have a think about that.
Yeah.
I wanted to complicate matters. Not the
Of
right
course
word.
you did.
Or maybe it is.
Excuse me, I'd like to make things more difficult.
Yeah, but only for Jamie.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Go for it.
Oh yeah, great. That's what I need.
As we are, I guess, splitting to do these two respective tasks. They're sort of going this different ways, and then Meisel sort of stops for a moment, and he turns around, he runs back after Spider, and calls out to him. And when Spider turns around, he just sort of like, that child like slamming into someone to hug, when you just like run into someone to hug them. It's that, and then he just says, "Your dad's wrong to not want to find you. You're worth finding." And then he goes back.
/ confused Travolta. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've discovered one there is one small flaw with Alexandria's plans.
What? Why? What?
Well, Steve, this isn't Shining Capital. Dum dum dum.
What?
And that means that it's coming up on supper time. All the shops are closing. They'll reopen tomorrow. Nobody runs shops until 8 o'clock at night around here the way they do Shining Capital. That just doesn't happen here.
Money to spend.
Happy to take it tomorrow. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Thank you.
No.
Appreciate your patronage.
What time do you open? What time in the morning do you open?
So what you'll find out, chatting with a variety of different shopkeepers, and with progressively more frustrated, I suspect, Alexandria, is that most of them open around 7 in the morning.
Oh, that's so early. That's bedtime for me right now.
So 7 to 4 seems to be the schedule the city runs on.
Oh, no. I mean, I haven't even slept. No, okay.
Could we find someone who looks like they would have what we're after and offer them like extra money to come in early?
Well, okay, so how extra?
Not more than I have. Where are you getting this money from, Meisel? You don't have this money.
You assume.
Wait. I mean, you're 12.
100.
That's a good point.
Made a lot of investments.
Please don't hand them ancient monies. That makes them.
There's just like property
suspicious.
Scattered across the entire continent.
Just
every now and again, he has to he just goes like some kind of like bank account, just draws out whatever he needs. He's just like, whatever.
And here we are again, back in
Shades of Highlander.
Shades of the Belgariad, I guess. What's happening here? 50 Shades of Belgariad.
I mean, ouch, ick, something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hang on a second.
But how much more do you have to offer someone to get them to just...
Hang on a second. I'll actually just.
Money is vague in this system, so vaguely
Yeah.
the amount, I guess.
Mhm.
Can I give
Yeah,
you a plot appropriate amount plus 1 unit of plot appropriateness?
I bribe you the plot appropriate amount.
Yeah, exactly.
The
So you
system
guys
appropriate
are,
amount.
yeah, you guys are wealth level what?
3?
3 or 4?
Yeah.
So we're almost level 5, which
Wealth level 4,
would make
but
our wealth level still
Yeah.
3 if we're still operating 1 under.
we're 1 under, so it would be 3.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Which I mean is still good money. You're making the equivalent. You have the equivalent wealth of a master artisan or a village mayor. Small boat, fine horse, nice car. That kind of idea is within your maximum expenditure range. So okay. All right. I'm just checking the way this is. Okay. Wealth represents influence since players aren't okay. Characters can easily bribe NPCs with a lower wealth score. As it works, you'd actually be talking to someone who's functionally got the same wealth score as you do.
So that'd be stretching.
Yeah. That it would be considered if you're essentially trying to bribe them to come in early. Then it would be considered a quote major expense, which means that it can be done, but the expense taxes resources such that new goods at that level or higher cannot be acquired for 2 weeks. So essentially, yes, you could bribe a merchant to come in early, keep his mouth shut about it, clandestinely set you guys up, forget you ever existed, but then that would be your big outlay for the next 2 weeks.
I don't know if we should do that. Just in case we actually do need to get an airship.
2 weeks is a long time. 2 weeks game time is a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, particularly
even with 2 months in.
Yeah.
At most. So what? We're going to bed now.
This is the difference of trying to bribe the owner to when it happened to me bribing the guy behind the counter.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it possible to bribe the guy behind the counter?
You're forgetting that this is. Well, sorry. No, allow me to.
I'm not expecting that to be a thing.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely not a thing. For lack of a better way of putting it, the guy behind the counter can't open the store. It's the fellow who owns the shop, because you're not dealing with you would be dealing with a professional outfitting company. And so, this is a master merchant who's running the show and has hired people to handle, all the stuff he doesn't want to do or she doesn't want to do, such as, the stock room and blah, blah. They're focusing on the part of the business, the customers, that they enjoy. So it's a very different paradigm than we're used to in a modern world. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's what I assumed.
You were hoping for a better answer. Now I get you.
Well, the off chance.
I've literally been the person on the other end.
Oh yeah, no, exactly.
And I was just like, this is where the idea came from. And I was like, well, I wasn't the owner of there. And they were just like, I don't know, want to get twice what you get in an hour for coming in like 45 minutes earlier? And I was like, yes, I do. Thank you.
Yep.
So
it's just in this condition, that's just not a thing, I guess. The people. It's not that the staff wouldn't love to say yes. It's they don't have a copy of the key.
Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah.
What should we do? Just go to bed.
I don't know.
Um. So you
Just
can.
would double check how something works.
Okay.
Oh.
I mean, I could sit up and make us warm things. Just.
So
What?
I don't think it's exact. It's normally for this, but I'm going to pitch it and see how it goes.
Sure.
So Mysol has the innocent perk, which is whether from a distant Fey ancestry or simply an air of naivety, you possess a childlike quality that can melt even the coldest of hearts. Once per game session, you can leverage your innocence to turn an enemy and cause them to take pity on you. And the examples are things like the enemy might choose to look the other way when you've done something illegal, forgive a debt you could never pay, or vouch for your favor before the authorities. Would they stay open longer if a 12-year-old child started crying?
Oh.
If you are going to use your once per session ability, then yes. You will find a sympathetic soul whose heart can be mercilessly melted by your childlike wily ways.
I imagine them like they've been very, very nice about it all. It's like, look, I'm really sorry, but we're open at 7, and then sort of, and then as they're sort of walking away, Miles was like, okay, it's just we're really excited to do.
It's okay. You don't need to cry. You don't need to cry. Stop. There's no need to cry about it. Oh my goodness. We'll just get some sleep and come back tomorrow.
You said we had to leave early and we don't have time.
Oh no, birds and child.
When they're like, oh god, okay, and then it's like as soon as they walk back in this door, Michael sort of like just takes Alexander's hand. He's like, okay, let's go.
What the fuck was that?
Talk later.
Just.
Crying ice cubes. Cold-blooded bastard. All right. All right, and so yeah, you will be able to go shopping. What is your shopping for?
Warm
at
things.
the local outfitter's store.
Was it like appropriate gear for the journey, and possibly supply some other like whatever sundries required that we will need for the task ahead.
Sure.
Which I feel like we would be more aware of than I feel like I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, and you're at an outfitter's place. Are you going to explain what it is you're doing?
I mean,
or you just, we need high altitude, cold weather survival gear because we're going fishing down by the coast.
In this time, I'm happy to leverage my honest flaw. Literally, just say we're gonna go climb a mountain.
Okay.
Gotta earn those legend points.
You gotta earn the legend points so they don't come back, you know.
Yeah, mark that one.
You can only do it once per session per floor, so you know.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead and mark that. Oh, well, why don't you just get one of the? Why don't you get just one of the folks to take you up? Climbing those mountains is madness. The folks. The winged folk.
I would. You know,
they can take you up.
We'll probably do that as well. Just but gotta experience things. It's gonna be fun.
I don't think it's going to be fun.
He's going to look the merchant in question, very slightly old, balding, pallid fellow. dark reddish tan to his complexion, very stern eyes. Gets a very thoughtful look on his face and looks at Mysel, a very patient expression on his face. So what's the biggest tree you've ever climbed?
The biggest what?
Tree.
Tree? Oh, me, very high.
He gives it some thought and then names a forest that probably hasn't existed for like.
Oh.
Like if you said it to a scholar, they'd be like, "I'm sorry, what?" But like
the
famously huge, like some sort of big redwood place that's got harvested at some point.
Yeah, just
centuries ago.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm not familiar with that spot. But okay, so if you were to go outside and look at this building, this building is pretty tall. It's 2 floors, right? You've got this area we're in, and then there's the warehouse part. He says very patiently. Now, if you were to turn that building on end, it would be 10 times taller than it is long. Do you follow me so far?
Yes.
Okay. So how long do you think it would take you to run to the other end of the building?
I'm trying to do the maths, and I'm not getting very far. He gives a number that is probably relatively...
So the smallest hill that you would climb on your way to the mountains is 10 times taller than that. And it will take you 3 days walking just to get to that hill.
But that's why we're not going to just walk, like you said, to the folks.
Okay, all right, but he kind of looks. He's going to stop. He's going to look from Mysel to Alexandria. What is Alexandria dressed with? Is she still the veiled priestess?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He kind of looks back and forth between you two. I'm going to guess you two aren't locals.
No, definitely not.
No, we travel a lot.
The Volksixi usually provide their passengers with stuff. You don't have to buy your own.
But we should have our own just in case, especially since I'm fairly sure your goods are going to be more comfortable.
Well, fair enough. I just didn't. He kind of smiles. I just didn't want you spending money you didn't need to, or because you didn't understand what was going on. So hang on. Right, let's get the little gentleman here fitted up first.
No, I'm very used to having things that are personally made for me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can't do that for you, miss, but I'm sure I can find something. He kind of looks at you. Excuse the gawking. You've got good shoulders on you. You're not too tall. Pretty sure I've got something that'll fit you, but I want to make sure the little lad's good and warm before we start suiting you up.
Okay.
So,
do you have really, really, really big blankets?
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean we've got horse blankets for sure.
Do you have really big horse blankets?
We're talking draft horses, miss. Yeah, we've got some. We've got knee, right?
Could I have like maybe 4 of those as well, also?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
So he's going to rummage around the place and kit you guys up with everything you'll basically need for a mountain expedition.
Just accurately describes Spider's build.
Mm-hmm. All right, so third fellow not here, about that tall, about that wide. All right. Can I walk on walls? Never mind. Anyway. And so yes, after a while, a priestess and her tag-along are leaving the store with a peanuts-sized pile of
what size? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the classic picture from the Peanuts cartoon.
Peanuts,
walking out, arm down to here, pile up to there. Can't see where you're going. Still doesn't bump into anything.
I really only needed one word. Really.
You're welcome.
Now I heard peanuts. But I guessed what you.
What?
I,
What
I
else
had
could
no,
you have heard?
I had nothing contextually that would give me an indication of what it was you were talking about. There was no context that happened for me.
Mm,
I haven't
I
read or
see.
watched enough Peanuts for that.
Yes, Charles Schulz was a genius.
What does
But
it
yes,
say
there's
about my knowledge of penis?
I was just going to say um I was desperately trying not to go there. Good on you.
My fake character on Monster Hearts may well take the move unashamed. There we go.
Alexandre blushes and doesn't know why.
Alexandre's like, oh, wait, what?
So yes, there's one of the Peanuts Christmas specials. Charlie Brown is going shopping for Christmas, and Snoopy goes by, and he's literally arms down by past his kneecaps, hyper drawn extension, and the pile of presents is up past his head. He just kind of skips past without anything in the pile moving. Yeah, that was mentally the image I had.
Yeah.
With Meisel beside Alexandre.
That realistically, that's kind of it, right? Alexandre wouldn't be carrying maybe a couple of boxes.
All right.
He definitely has 0 in might.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Alexandre has 1.
Alexandre is stronger than Meisel.
Oh my goodness, Alexandre is stronger than someone.
He's stronger and taller. You're the jock of this partnership.
Winning, finally.
Finally. Awkward.
I am taller than a 12-year-old. Huzzah!
You take the victories where you get them.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't taller than my 8-year-old sister, so no, I can't take the victories where I get them.
Are you taller than a 6th grader?
It's not a long show, but it's,
Hands on the 6th grader.
Almost by definition, it's not a long show if you're using a 6th grader.
Well, at least Alexandre will always be taller than Meisel from this point on.
Might be a very brief moment we're not, but we'll see how it goes.
Just when he's unfolding.
Oh, Meisel. I will say it again. What the fuck was that?
Oh, right. Sorry. I forgot.
Psychic emotional warfare.
Well, if I'm gonna look like this, might as well get some use out of it occasionally. So, learn how to cry. It's not, sometimes you need people to do things, or people don't like having to deal with a crying child.
Oh, so you do the same thing with lying in tears that I do just generally.
Yeah, I guess.
This is another one of those morality things. Okay.
I don't do it very often. It's hard to, but, in a pinch.
Do you pinch yourself?
No, it's an expression.
Oh.
It's not a go-to maneuver kind of thing, but we didn't have a lot of other options.
Well, I mean, we also didn't have to leave right now. We're waiting for Spider.
Sure, but to get the gear, we didn't have a lot of options.
Are we leaving tonight?
I don't know.
Oh.
I feel like sooner is better.
It's getting cold.
Yeah.
Very cold. Like night cold, not day cold. Day cold is not so cold.
I mean, probably just leaving the early morning is probably a little better. But it feels like, starting to feel more and more like putting some distance between us and Dusseldorf is seeming like the option we should go with.
How far out of the city do we need to go before you fold?
Depends. It's more of a sightline issue, but
Well, I mean, yes, until someone sees. I don't know what it would look like, but something just silhouetted in the sky.
we've been hidden for a long time, and we had good reason to do so, but
But
maybe
I
we
mean,
don't need to do it as much anymore.
no, but just hear me out on this one. We're leaving because we are trying to stay hidden.
I don't think they would connect that with you. And at the same time, if someone came to your house and said that they'd seen a dragon, do you believe them?
Yes.
Or do you think that they may have seen something they might have believed to be a dragon, but it was something else?
I hear sentient music. If you come to my house,
You don't know.
everyone you talk to is going to believe you.
That's on me. That is on me. Yeah. No, you're right.
My frame of reference is very different.
Oh, yeah. No. That question works a lot better when, yeah, on me. And think it through.
Yeah.
But most people aren't going to believe that. Like,
mean-
if someone told Jasper that they'd seen a dragon, do you think Jasper would believe
Yes.
them a year ago?
A year ago? Oh, no, that's very different.
Yeah.
No, a year ago, Jasper didn't believe that I could do magic at all. Well, Jasper didn't really care. Or know. I don't know what Jasper knew a year ago, but
The people looking for you are looking for very specific things. Dragons are not one of them.
not yet.
And even if they saw it, it might be something that they would keep in mind to look into later. But that's not what they're here for. I'm not saying we just draw our attention to ourselves and fly out of the city. But I think if we're careful, and there may come a point when they work it out. And that's, well, we'll have to just handle it then.
Okay. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
You said that it might be possible to do what the person trying to see me could do, not from another plane. That's, if you could, you would be more creepy, I think. So it's better if you cannot do it. But do you have to know who the person is, or like, what do you need to know about the person to do that? Just wondering.
I need to know what I'm looking for to use a phrase, because it's not looking, it's finding their essence, I guess. So if I'm aware of what I have to look out for again, so I could find you or Jasper if I needed to, but I couldn't find Lucas.
So what if you were looking for someone that looks like me, but maybe 40 or 50 years older?
Like a family member?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I'd probably, and you might not like it, but I'd probably need to look at your thoughts of that person.
Oh, okay.
And because I can get your impression of them, and because they're going to be similar to you, then I can sort of piece that together, and I might be able to find them from that.
Do
Who
you,
were you thinking about?
my grandma and my mother and my father.
Well, look. I would be happy to try if you would be comfortable doing that. But I'm not going to do it without asking. I'm not going to do it unless you want me to. Like I said, I don't like doing it without asking. It's not my first choice. But sometimes, but in this case, I'm not going to just not ask you.
Okay.
But if that's something you want to do, I'm happy to try.
Let me think about it.
Okay.
And I head back.
So what has Spider decided?
You're thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's now night in the city, right? You said it's after.
It is just gonna say it is now after supper. Yes, so night is swiftly falling upon the city. The darkness crawling in over the walls. The constant rumble of the waterfall in the distance. The chill breeze of the night air beginning to suffuse the city in a thin fog. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I think as like the sun is setting, we get a shot of Spider sitting on a rooftop, uh, some distance away, but in sight of the trading company where Bruxer works,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just like he's got a knife in his hand, and he's not. I feel like sharpening it is too on the nose. It's just like that sort of like absent-minded flicking it between his fingers
Mm-hmm.
and staring down at the thing. Um, this is like such a hard choice to make. I think it's because she saw my soul with us in disguises, and Lord Edgewater's people saw my soul with us out of disguises. There's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And as you so kindly reminded me, Spider's prideful flaw. I think it gets the better of him here. I think
All right.
once the sun goes down, the plan is to go Spider mode and try and infiltrate that place.
All right. So,
What was sorry? Was it like fairly obvious that she would be staying there? Like she doesn't live off premises.
I don't think you know enough from what you saw to make that judgment call. You guys, quote, came from a back part of the place.
Yeah.
And then you guys, you stopped, came out, greeted you, went into the back part of the place, but only far enough to get to basically one of the first rooms up, which was a parlor. So there's at least a broad implication that there's living spaces of some kind back there because there's a parlor and obviously a hallway that went somewhere, whether they're doors. But I don't think in that glimpse with everything else that was going on that you really had enough information. Yeah, it wouldn't be unreasonable, I guess is the best way of putting it, that yeah, that's a hangout like that with her guards and staff, some of them staying there with her, is easy to fortify in a world known for trying to cut corners on expenses. Let's use that phrase.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, I think it's like the long watch waiting for everyone for business to die down, man. But
Mm-hmm.
once things are dark and quiet,
All right. I am going to require you to make 3 stealth type rolls, please. 2 of them are 15. Third one is a 20. Is your target numbers?
stealth type rolls. I believe these are agility, right?
Yeah.
Let me just double check my character sheet because it's been a while since we did this. I
Mhm.
believe I have 2d8. Yeah. Okay.
Essentially, what these are is opportunities. Because I haven't got a map, I'm just going to abstract it down to 3 opportunities for you to get caught on the way in, right?
Yeah.
And I've already modified those numbers down by 3 points based on the fact that you are literally able to walk on ceilings and avoid some things.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Being able to walk on.
You do now have a legend point that you could chuck in at some point.
Oh, do we? Okay, well, I'll think about it. I'm not sure if I need it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're doing a dumb thing because of your flaw.
Yeah, reminder, Alexandria
have,
to update the legend point channel. Thank you.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, just just you use your flaw, and I forgot to mention. And Alexandria, Chantal is keeping track on screen of the available legend points. So Alexandria has 1, and Spider should now have 1.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. I get my own as well.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not exactly making.
Thank you.
The wisest choice here, am I? But
No,
I do have. I get advantage from having skill specialization agility anyway. So I feel like.
Just to be clear, Jamie, the group doesn't have any. It's just you have the one.
Yeah, okay, I understand.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
All right, cool. You said 15, a 15, and a 20, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, our first obstacle is a 22, so that's an easy pass.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine this is scaling walls and getting into.
Yeah, this is drifting past the janitor whose mop is a cane sword.
Yeah, sure. Ooh, this one's gonna be a bit tighter.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Wait, no, hold on. No, it's not. It's because this is still a 15.
Right.
Because this one also explodes. So that's 9 plus an 8 is 17.
Yep.
With another 7 on top. So that's another 24.
Mm-hmm. This is you basically circumventing the equivalent of a Nightingale floor.
Yeah. So a bunch of traps and etc. set.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here's the big one, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna have faith in Spider for this, I think. It's so close.
You rolled an 18, didn't you?
No. I rolled a 21.
21. All right. Wow. All right then.
It was just in weird numbers, so it was like hard for me to.
Mm-hmm. All right then. So what I'm going to do, with your permission, is we're actually going to wrap the session here.
Okay.
Because I need to actually prep that character. So that it's not just a matter of did you roll a 20 or not? Okay, fine. You dead on the floor. I actually want it to be a meaningful interaction.
It's going to be that kind of assassination anyway. Like he wants to have a word to her. It was only like halfway through the session where I remembered you telling me that I worked out that she knows who betrayed me back in Shining Capital. So that's going to be a conversation that needs to happen before.
Right. And so that's just it. Is I want to have a character sheet with some proper stats on it, so that if things go badly, that it's a meaningful interaction versus me trying to interact, ad hoc stuff on the fly.
Yeah.
So we'll wrap it up for there. That gives me that gives me my subject matter for what it is I'm rolling up tomorrow.
Hey, Marcel, do you think Spider should be back now? Do you think he's dead this time?
Let me just check.
Oh God!
I can't find a brain.
Just as he slips in the window.
Yeah. Because this
is this a dagger you see before you, Maxwell?
Yeah, you see a dagger shoved through a stack of paper. Because that's likely to end well. Something mill plan.
Oh boy.
Why does she also have a map of the dam?
Everyone.
Yep.
The plot thickens.
Yeah, the plot sickens. Yes.
You stab her and it's Genevieve.
Oh, good. You show. I'm just going to say, thunk. Oh, good. It actually is you. Wait, what?
What
I didn't know what else to get in past the guards. You're not a fake. Awesome.
Well, it was nice. Spider was a nice character, and yeah, good time.
As long as he dies knowing, as long as he finds out who the rat is.
KJ, we can't control how we can't control grief.
Nor can we control bad player choices. That's literally the opposite of a role-playing game.
We literally can't control Spider. So I tried to send a bird with him to keep watch, and Spider said, "Nah, mate." And then, fucked up interspecies relationships. So
this tweeting animal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to go and kill somebody. No, thank you.
I'm just going to say, Spider's off to murder someone. Please send tweet.
I'm ending the stream.
Yes.
Okay, it was lovely.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good time, and I will be back next week. I can't guarantee whether any of these others will be. So. Send that fucking tweet.
I've been waiting since you made those birds.
Create our own cliffhangers and puns.
Please no. Good night, everyone. Good morning,
Good night,
everyone,
folks.
and good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. Bye-bye.
Bye.